I recently bought a new piece of equipment, and the reason, well, there were two reasons why I bought it. First of all, because I managed to get it cheaply, and second of all, because it was an instrument that I think could help me with European or PAL SECAM style TV sets and NTSC TV sets. And I think you can already guess what this is. It is, in fact, what you would call a leader NPS 408 pattern generator. Yes, a pattern generator, and what a beast it is. It's really heavy, and it is large. I mean, it is really large. As you can tell for yourselves, this piece of equipment takes all the space on my workbench, and then some. As you can see, it's hanging over the edge of my workbench. It's so large. Now, truth be told, I don't know whether it works. Unfortunately for me, the transporter of the device was somewhat, I should say, careless, and they banged up one of the corners of the pattern generator. So I don't know if anything is damaged inside. So what we're going to do is to open up the whole machinery and then see whether there's anything damaged, and then we'll see we'll try out whether it functions or not. Because as you remember, I repaired this little TV set you see here, and if the pattern generator functions, then I intend to use it to align this little TV set. But okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves. So the very first thing I'll need to do is to open up the whole machinery. So, well, there is a top cover, which you see here, and there are obviously at least 2 screws holding it down. And I suspect there are just as many screws underneath. So since the problem might be underneath, I'll just flip over the appliance or the test generator, and then we'll have a look at how to unscrew the bottom of it. So here we go. There are actually, as far as I can tell, 3 screws holding down the bottom of the equipment. Well, the bottom cover. But I suspect not only do I have to unscrew these 3 screws you see, I'll also have to unscrew this tab you see here. So I'll have to take this off, and I'll have to take off the bottom screws. So well, let's get it. This is the underside of the leader pattern generator, and right away, well, the very first thing that strikes you is that it's full of integrated circuits. And when I say full, I mean really full of them. It seems quite intricate really, and very, very neat. It's really neatly done, and well, I like the looks of it. And fortunately for me, as you remember, this corner was banged up, and but no equipment as such looks to be damaged. So you could say I got lucky, because had this corner be banged up, then I might have been in trouble, in real trouble. But as it turns out, I'm not. So it was the power connector side that got banged up. And as you can see, there's really nothing in this area that can be broken, at least at the bottom. So that's great. Excuse me. No parts seem to be dislodged, and I can't see any obvious damage. No burn marks, no overheating, no loose connectors. It really looks perfect. My guess is this area of the PCB is the high frequency area. And that is definitely a part of the circuitry I'm not going to touch. This, on the other hand, seems like the processor part of the device. And now I need to take a magnifying glass to read. I think... I'm not sure, but one of these chips must be at least a processor, and I think I found it. This might be a processor with its dedicated ROM, probably loaded with a kind of firmware. I think there's a date, 10/22, so the 22nd of October, but there's no year I can tell. Okay. Then there are a few more EEPROMs here, and they too are dated, I think 017, and then a number 0152 or 1154. No, it's not it's actually not a date. Oh, I see. It's a 512 kilobyte EEPROM. That's interesting. Okay. Yes, that's another 512 kilobyte EEPROM. Okay. Interesting. Anyway, like I said, all the parts look fine. So I'm going to turn the equipment over, and I'm going to unscrew the top part of the pattern generator. Okay, and this is the top part of the leader pattern generator, and this contains a lot more high frequency stuff, as you can tell for yourselves. And I'm cleaning it with a blast of compressed air to get out some of the dust. And as you can see at the top, of the machinery, there is one massive, and when I say massive, I'm being careful in the choice of my words. It's one massive I would tend to say toroidal transformer, and it's really massive. Can you see the size of my hand and the transformer? It's huge, and it probably also weighs a lot, which would explain the actual weight of the whole device. Now, obviously, if there's something wrong with this piece of machinery, well, to service it would be hellish. Not only because it has close to hundreds or maybe even thousands of parts, but you can see all the parts are really packed tight. Okay, they are all built on separate PCBs, and on the PCBs there are standing PCBs, and I think they did this, these standing PCBs, partially to save some space, I guess, but also perhaps to isolate them from the rest of the PCB, or maybe to avoid sort of an RF radiation or something like that. Frankly, excuse me, I have no idea. Now, I haven't powered it up yet, but I think the best thing I can do would be to leave it open as it is, and then see whether when I power it up it reacts or not. Now, there is one peculiarity about it that I haven't figured out yet. Okay, so, oh, by the way, you can see the different color output lines over there, I think that is. No, sorry. This is just cable colors. Yeah. Okay, nothing to do with color generation of patterns or anything. It's just wiring. And as you can see, the transformer outputs 100 volts, 120 volts, and in several secondary circuits, I would tend to say. Maybe it is a kind of an isolation transformer. That could be possible, but well, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I have my doubts, though, that it would be that. I think it's just the power transformer. I mean, the transformer for the power supply, and the power supply is definitely this part. And as you can see, there are quite a few power transistors and even a bridge rectifier over there. Two, in fact, three bridge rectifiers, and a lot of power transistors too. Now, the electrolytics, as far as I can tell, they look fine, at least on the outside, aside from a little dust, they look okay. So there are some part numbers on it. So if I inspect the electrolytics I see on the print boards, they look okay. I see no burn marks, I see nothing which might obviously have overheated or shorted. It looks excuse me, it looks surprisingly clean and sound. and very complicated. Like I said, if I would have to repair this, forget it. Certainly a high frequency board like that one over here, well, that would be actually, in my opinion, impossible to repair. Okay, I mean, there are so many fine-tuned coils and capacitors and transistors and you name it, and even coils. Nah, impossible. The only thing that you could do to repair it would be to simply replace a complete PCB. Okay, this is definitely a daunting piece of equipment, and truth be told, I'm dying to see it function. And now, the one mystery I have is this. It says here that it is set for 120 volts. However, if you read the fuse case, you see, theoretically, you could also power it on 220. Strange. Okay, let's have a look at the fuse. So, here we go.
He had a friend pull out a tooth. Well, I'm not going to have a tooth extracted, but I do want to test its pain-relieving properties. I have a needle here. I just prick myself.
Okay.
Ouch, really hurt. Let's see if this works.
Whoa, this is a heavy fuse. Let's see for what it's rated. 250 volts, 2 amps. Whoa. So that would mean theoretically 500 watts. Jesus. That's definitely daunting. You know, something that would draw 500 watts of current. That is huge. Okay, well, well, let's test the fuse and see whether it still functions. Okay. Okay. Okay, here we go. Watch the meter. Okay, the fuse measures out fine. So that's good. So, well, enough lollygagging. I think we should just try to fire it up and see whether it functions or not. Okay, I hooked up the pattern generator to my Variac and I set it at 120 volts. Now, okay, this is a picture of the front. And it looks pretty good, yeah? Well, it might need a little bit of cleaning, but all in all, it really looks nice. Okay, I have to admit some, or well, let's say about half of the commands or buttons on this front panel are really not familiar to me, so I'll have to find out one way or another how to use it. Anyway, one button on it I do know, and that's this one, the power button. So well, the fuse is good, the voltage is okay, So, well, let's see what happens when we switch the whole thing on. Here we go.
Our mouths are among the most personal and sensitive parts of our body, so strong reactions are understandable. But that doesn't explain it all. Seems to me that the past
Okay,
exerts a
well,
powerful influence on our
I see no smoke.
fears, but also
I smell nothing burning.
millennia of pain and terror.
Looks okay.
Fabric of our society.
It also says
Pulling teeth litter our language.
local sys.
Those darker days.
So I would tend to think that means a local system,
Despite
NTSC.
scientific advancements,
So it's set on NTSC. So let's see if we can set it on PAL, which is the system we used in Belgium.
dentistry's
And I think even in England. So, oh. Okay, wait. Okay, PAL. Enter. Okay. Yeah, Paul. What now? Okay, hang on here. I'm trying to figure out what I should do next. So I chose with this, I chose the PAL system you see here. Okay, so now I say enter, and it says select cursor key. Ah yeah, and is menu. Okay, so I press the menu button. Okay, now it says color system. Okay, video mode, TV channel mode. Okay, TV channel mode, so enter. Paul B. Ah, okay, I can choose the channel now. Oh, that's interesting. I think I am in UHF mode. So let's see.
A culture of fear and shame now on BBC4, and the babies born into and plucked out of it. Brand new Storyville goes in search of a raw history. In My Mother, The Secret Baby.
Okay, United Kingdom. Well, I don't know if that would work, but okay. What does it say now? Fine. TV channel. And it says B12, B14. I've got no idea what that is, but okay. Anyway, that's okay. Main menu. Okay, we're at main menu. So, Let's hook up the little TV set of mine and see whether we can make it function. I set the pattern generator to generating, as you can see, a frequency of almost 60 megahertz on the PAL B mode, or in the PAL B mode. And when I hook up the TV set, it is doing something, but well, it isn't doing a lot. So what I'm going to try is I'm going to try to change the protocol. So instead of PAL B, I'm going to try to select let's see, the TV channel mode. So I say enter, United Kingdom. Okay. That's doing something more, but not much more. Okay, well, let's see if the vertical hold will do anything. No, not much. Okay, so this is increasingly starting to be part 2 of my Telemate 1404 project. So yeah, well, this will turn out to be a combined sort of episode where I present my leader 408 NPS and I show you the alignment of my little TV set. Interesting. Okay, so I managed to download a manual for my leader 408 pattern generator. Now it is still set for American AC power, which is, I believe, 120 volts, and I need to change it to 240 volts because I really don't want to use an intermediary transformer to make it work on the AC power here where I live. So as the manual says, the power supply voltages on which it can work is changeable with rewiring, as you can read for yourselves. Okay, so let's move to the next page, and there you are. Okay, so what do they say here? Check the power supply voltage, blah blah blah. The voltage, if the voltages may overheat, series parallel windings, 120 volt. The instrument can be used in 4 voltage ranges. So you can make it work, say, from 90 to 110, from 108 to 132, from 198 to 242, and from 216 to 250. That's the one we need because, well, I measured the AC power coming out of the sockets here in the house, and it fluctuates a little bit, but it's always, say, around 235 volts. So the 240 volts setting is what we need. Okay. Okay, they say that the non-volatile memory is backed up by a battery, a rechargeable battery, and indeed underneath the device there is a small rechargeable battery mounted. I don't know if it's still good, but well, I suppose it is. Now, caution for input, blah blah blah. Yeah, okay, yada yada yada. And there they show exactly how it should be configured. Okay, so let me show you the configuration as it is right now. Well, as you can see, okay, hang on, because it's really rather bright, but I think you can see it. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, as you can see, this is the actual configuration, okay? And you see there are 6 tabs, and the tabs are numbered from 1 to 3. So you have 1, 2, 3, and then you have 1 accent, 2 accent, 3 accent, or apostrophe if you prefer. Now, as you can see, the power comes in on one side and on the other side, and there are one side is connected to 0 on this side, and I think brown is the live and blue is the neutral. Well, I could be wrong. I often mix it up, but okay, let's assume blue is neutral, brown is live. Okay, in that case, as you can tell for yourselves, the live is connected to this pin, which says 120 volts. The neutral is connected to this one, and it's a blue wire, okay, and that's connected to the 0 volts. Right, so if we look at this connection and we go back here, then you see that it is in this configuration, okay? So you have the live, which comes in here, and it's connected to the 3, and then you have the neutral that comes in here and is connected to 0 and goes to the 1 apostrophe. So let's check. So we have the live, yeah, we have the phase. The phase comes in at this and goes to the 3. The neutral comes in here and goes to the 0 volt on the 1 apostrophe. Okay, so that is the connection as it is now. Now, what we need is this one here. Now actually, as you can see, there's only a slight difference between the 220 setting and the 240 setting. Okay, so in this setting is really quite simple. What I need to do is I need to connect the 3 you see here with the 1 apostrophe here, and I need to leave the 2 outer ones as they are. Okay, so the 220 is about the same thing, except that you have to shift the neutral 1 position, but we don't want 220, we want 240. So this is the configuration we need. We just need to take away these connections, these center connections, and we have to put one center connection from 3 to 1 apostrophe. Okay, so let's do it. Right, well, here we go. Now let me see, so I need to disconnect this one. Ooh, it's really tight. Hang on. Okay, hang on, I need to put the camera down or hold it in another way because this is really complicated. Okay, hang on, maybe I can do it like this. Here we go. Ooh, it's really hard. I wonder, do I need to take off the cap? I don't really need to take off the cap, but we can. Okay, well, damn it. Okay, that's one. Now, that's two. Okay, so I disconnected these two. Now I'm going to use one of them to connect the center position. That is, if I can release it without damaging anything. Okay, hang on. Maybe I can do it by hand, but it's mighty tight. Okay, it's moving a bit. Okay, hang on. Oh God, this is really tight. Yeah, I'm a little bit afraid of damaging it, you know, because that would be really silly. It's such an intricate machine. I really don't want to damage it if I can help it. Okay, easy does it. Right, okay. Well, as you can tell, the little panel says, yeah, this one and that one are the pins that I need, the 3 and the 1 apostrophe. Okay, so we're going to connect the 3 and the 1 apostrophe. Come on. Move. Yeah. Good. And now this one. Oh. Jeez. This is really hard. Okay. There you go. Okay, well, according to the manual, this should work. Okay, so let me put back the little panel. Okay. Great. Well, that should be it. I think if I followed the instructions correctly, I reconverted my leader signal generator or pattern generator to function with 220 and not 110. Just in case you're wondering how to close the cabinet, well, here's how. You slide the panel, the upper cover, like this, in this groove. You see a groove here, yeah, and you see the other end here. And what you do is you gently push it into place, and it drops nicely into the rail, into that groove, as you can tell. Now there's a groove here. Okay, so what you need to do is to gently push at the back of the panel, and there you go. It slides into place like that. And what you need to do then is to simply screw it tightly down to the chassis with 2 screws, one here and one over there. And there you are. I would say that was a successful conversion from 110 or 120 to 240 AC. That's great. Now I don't need any transformer any longer to make it run properly and directly on our AC power. Okay guys, I'm close to the point where I'm going to call it a day. But I wanted to familiarize myself with my pattern generator. And I have to admit, it took me a while before I got the hang of it. But, well, I found out, for one thing, that where I live, the pattern generator needs to use a frequency band, which is PAL, and that is that was the transmission protocol which was being used in Europe, where I live, and more specifically Belgium. And you have to select the CCIR. Well, I can't lift the... Anyway, it's a CCIR band, and hang on, maybe I can show it in another way. Okay, hang on. So, okay, let's give ourselves a little bit of light. So, let me see. Menu button. Okay, so what we use over here is what is called CCIR VH, or UH rather, which would stand, I suppose, for UHF. And I'm using channel number 21. Okay. Now, one thing I didn't immediately find out is that I had to adjust the output frequency, the video output frequency, and it seems minus 6.20 megahertz works just fine. Yeah. So that works perfectly. Now, don't ask me quite yet to explain everything to you. First of all, I'm not yet a high frequency expert, but I'm going to find out, and I hope to share with you as I go along what I find out. So CCIR is really an acronym. Something like Central Institution for Radio Transmission or something like that. I'll look it up. And well, you know, they lay down all sorts of specifications and all that. Okay, now the fun thing is that it actually works, and I connected it up temporarily to my flat screen. So, and there you are. This is one of the patterns that I can call up. Pretty neat, eh? So yeah, I'm extremely pleased to see that my pattern generator works terrifically, you know. And well, you know, there are plenty of patterns apparently in the pattern generator. This is just one of them. You know, I would say the standard color and black and white pattern you can select, and you can overlay. You know, I can overlay a circle, or I can switch it off. You see? I can overlay a dot pattern. Yeah? Or rather, I can overlay a dot pattern with another pattern. Let me see. Like this one, for example. Yeah? So I can overlay a dot pattern with a color pattern or color bar pattern. I can choose another one, by the way. Let me see. I can choose this one, for example, or that one, or a crosshair, yeah, or a checkered pattern like this with all sorts of colors, or bars, color bars, yeah, or this one, which are vertical color bars. Nice, eh? And I can overlay it with a circle if I want to. You see? Obviously, the circle is an oval because, well, as we all know nowadays, the screen format is not 4:3, but 16:9. So obviously, my pattern generator is generating a 4:3 circle, which is being displayed on a 16:9 screen. So obviously you won't get a circle but an oval. Still, it's nice to see it works, huh? What else do I have? Let me see. Well, this one we saw. Okay. Yeah, we saw this one too. We saw this one also, and we saw the, well, this is a circle overlay, or rather a crosshair overlay with a circle. Well, I suppose you could use this to set the convergence of the screen and the centering of the screen. That's rather nice. I like it. You can also select fixed patterns like this. Yeah. Overlay with a circle or not. So I can switch off the circle or switch it on. I can invert I can invert the picture like this or like that. Nice, eh? I can choose a checker pattern, this, and I can invert it or switch off the circle. So there's plenty. There's this, which is a crude color step or a fine color step. And then there are some patterns I haven't checked yet. For example, there is a pattern here which is called DEM, this one here. And that is that one. Now, why on earth would you use that pattern? Well, I'm not quite sure. I suppose maybe, you know, I think you would use this pattern specifically on a color TV where you have to set the the red, green and blue electron guns so that they would produce exactly those colors. And you see on the sides, you see very faint colored bands too. You know, so I guess that would be used to set the alignment of the color guns on a color TV or the electron guns. What is this? Not much. And this? Okay. Well, that beats me. I don't know what that does. Okay, what is this? Okay. This lets you display all sorts of color combinations. See? But just one screen. So if I want a screen, say red or purple, yeah, I select that. If I want another color, I select this, for example, green or red. Green, blue. I could choose all sorts of color combinations. Nice. Then we have this. That's the normal black and white pattern. This is the pattern I would use on my little TV in combination with the circle. Yeah. So there's also something they call moving marker. And that's that. Now, frankly, why you would use that, I don't know. Okay, so you have a marker that moves. Why would you use that? I don't know. Okay, whatever. Then we have this. And this they call sweep pattern. Ooh, makes me dizzy. Okay, so, well, yeah, I'm not quite familiar yet with all the patterns on this pattern generator, but I do intend to familiarize myself with it, and in time to be able to give you a more complete and more in-depth tour of all the possibilities of a Leader 408 NPS pattern generator. Okay, so this is a fantastic machine. I'm really glad I bought it, and I think with a little bit of perseverance I can really do some useful work with it. Well, that's it for tonight, guys. So stay tuned for other updates.